A seabird. A seabird found with a Chinese GPS tracker not far from India's biggest naval base at Karwar in coastal Karnataka. That's the bird right there. Has sparked a media frenzy today about Chinese espionage, with several media outlets wondering if this is a spy bird sent thousands of miles from China to check out where India keeps major components of its Western naval fleet. So spy bird headlines flew thick and fast, and yes, let's say this up front, the bird itself and the tracker are very likely innocent. Hate to disappoint you, but there's a false alarm here. Migratory birds are often tagged by researchers. This was probably not a feathered James Bond, but there is a catch. Here is the uncomfortable truth, my friends. The frenzy around this innocent bird is not really misplaced. People jump to conclusions because Chinese espionage against India, far from being paranoia, is a reality we do not acknowledge enough. And there's not enough public awareness about it, since most of the public is fixated on Pakistan. Now look at the Indian Ocean right now, for instance. A record number of Chinese so-called research vessels are prowling waters around India. Officially, they are civilian. In practice, they are conducting hydrographic surveys of the Indian Ocean's largely uncharted seabed. Now, why does that matter? Because seabed mapping is critical for submarine operations, and submarines are China's greatest future power projection tool in the Indian Ocean region. Not to mention, these ships serve as very useful listening outposts in an ocean where India, remember, is the primary operator. India has also tracked Chinese missile tracking ships operating nearby, expecting to quietly soak up data on Indian missile tests. Now, these are not accidents by any stretch. These are deliberate intelligence collection missions. Closer home, the threat has moved into cyberspace and has been for a while now. For instance, recently in the news, a Chinese cyber surveillance organization called Warp Panda has been found to be getting inside cloud environments that are used by Indian government and private agencies, posing a potential strategic and economic threat. Add to this Chinese surveillance satellites, aggressive electronic intelligence collection, persistent cyber operations, and a clear pattern emerges. So yes, the seabird that made all the headlines and attracted all the reels and views across platforms near Karwar may well be a false alarm. The bird may be innocent, but the alarm itself is very real. It should serve as a wake-up call that surveillance and espionage against India are constant, sophisticated, and evolving. Sometimes the threat wears steel hulls and server code. Sometimes it looks like a harmless bird that at the very least triggers our right instincts about surveillance. And that is precisely why India cannot afford complacency.